The Mid-State, the site of a crackdown on a violent Venezuelan gang fueling sexual slavery in our community. The operation slowed by recent arrests. Metal detectors now going into all metro high schools. The timeline surrounding this added layer of safety. Teen refs attacked on the ice. What prompted a dad to take this violent action?
What we're doing here is really jeopardizing public safety.
English-only driving tests. Why not everyone is on board? Bringing home a Middle Tennessee astronaut stuck in space for 8 months. What might finally end this mission? Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We start with breaking news tonight surrounding a push to get weapons detection systems in every metro high school. After a lengthy debate, the board voted to move forward with the plan. All of this following last month's deadly Antioch school shooting, which cost 16-year-old Jocelyn Correa Escalante her life. The move will extend the current contract that the district has with Evolve Technology to put metal detectors with AI weapons detection in every high school. School leadership had been against metal detectors, but since that deadly shooting, they've changed their mind. Parents reaching out to Fox 17 News saying that this change was needed.
I would love to know how many of you have experienced firsthand gun violence, because the students at Antioch High School have.
We've both been on the ground at Antioch High School witnessing how the students have adapted to this change. And I must say that the look on the faces of the students as they walked in the door that first day was a look of comfort.
Metro says this will be a gradual rollout. School leaders say student population and the size of the building will play a role in how the system is set up. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story that you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line, the number right there on your screen, 615-266-4149. Now to Operation Crime and Justice. Members of a violent South American gang found living in the suburbs of Middle Tennessee. Police arresting 2 people that they say ran a sex slavery operation for Tren de Aragua. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us here in studio tonight to break down these new arrests. Karen?
Megan, investigators say the 2 arrested linked to Tren de Aragua coerced the victims to come to the United States under false pretenses and instead were enslaved to prostitution here in the Nashville area. Young, vulnerable, poor women forced into prostitution in the Nashville area after investigators say they were lured into the country with lies, promising them a better life, manipulating them to pay more than their travel costs using their bodies. Venezuelans Yulibet del Carmen Rivero de Caldera and her son Cleaver Daniel Mota Rivero are now under arrest, accused of trapping these women in a life of misery. Investigators say they use their Tren de Aragua ties to scare the women into commercial sex and exploitation. They and 6 others are facing human trafficking charges for an operation beginning in 2022. Metro Police say one of these operations was run inside a motel on Murfreesboro Pike back in 2023. Hala Hata owns a store across the street.
It's bad. It's very bad. Why? Why come in here and make this?
On December 14th, 2023, the TBI had a search warrant for the Murfreesboro homes of the mother and son duo, and at the same time had a recovery operation in Nashville hotels with emphasis on protecting the victims, regardless of their legal status, according to Rob McGuire, the acting U.S. State's Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee.
To intimidate the victims into continuing to commit commercial sex acts. The Department of Justice is fully committed to the eradication of these transnational criminal organizations. And we will continually and aggressively pursue justice for the victims.
After the search warrant, the TBI issued arrest warrants, and Rivero was arrested the same day. Court documents show Mota and the other defendants fled out of state. Mota was finally arrested on March 2024 at a Nashville area hotel. All defendants charged are in federal custody. They have multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution. In studio, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News tracking Tren de Aragua here in Middle Tennessee for months now. You can see all of our stories and reporting on our Fox Nashville YouTube channel. And while you're there, subscribe.
If you can't take it in English, then you don't need to get a driver's license.
Covering the Capitol, a bill making its way through Tennessee's General Assembly looking to make the written driving exam English only. Right now, the test is offered in 5 different languages. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan spoke to the author of the bill and the critics.
Both sides say that public safety would be affected right here in the state of Tennessee. For the author, he believes that public safety would be changed for the better. But as for opponents, they believe that public safety would be changed for the worst.
Hundreds of thousands of drivers hit the road in Tennessee every day, navigating signs, signals, and road rules, most of which are in English.
Pretty much anything that you're doing on Tennessee roads is all in English. And we feel that if you can't speak English, that obviously it's going to create distractions. If you have to use an interpretation app, if you have to do something else. We want to keep Tennesseans safe. It's a public safety thing.
Representative Kip Capley wrote up House Bill 556, which would make Tennessee only the 3rd state to offer written driver's license tests solely in English. It would also prohibit the use of electronic devices and translators to help.
When I go on vacation and I drive in other countries, I don't have a problem because most signs are universal, right? So it doesn't matter if it's in a foreign language or not.
Democrat Representative John Ray Clemens believes that if this bill were to pass, it would affect public safety, but in a bad way.
Now, anytime you create a roadblock like this, people are going to go around it. And so I'm afraid what we're doing here is really jeopardizing public safety.
On the other side, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that impaired driving, whether due to alcohol or drugs, makes up nearly 30% of all traffic fatalities. And Representative Capley believes that those who struggle to read or interpret traffic signs could be contributing to a similar level of danger.
We're not asking these people that come here and stay here that want to get a license to learn the entire language. We don't want them to learn the entire Webster's Dictionary. They just have to learn enough English to pass the test.
Only 16% of all the driver's license tests that were taken last year here in the state of Tennessee were not in English. In Nashville, I'm Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And we want to know what you think. Do you believe Tennessee's driver tests should be in English only? We've had 818 people weighing in on this tonight. 80.3% of voters say yes, 19.7% say no. Still time to cast your vote, though. This poll is live right now. Scan the QR code there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page where you can vote, and we'll show you these real-time numbers again a little later in the newscast. Now to an update tonight on the 2 stuck astronauts in outer space. They may be coming home sooner than expected. NASA says SpaceX will switch capsules for upcoming astronaut flights in order to bring Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams home. This is expected to happen in mid-March instead of late March or April. Wilmer is from Mount Juliet. He, along with Williams, have spent 8 months in space. They were supposed to return to Earth last June after a week-long space project, but a damaged spacecraft prevented that. That really puts time in perspective, right?
I know, right? It's crazy.
I have so many questions.
Let's talk about what's going on this evening here. I've been looking at some of our cameras, and the visibility quite poor at the moment here. I think we're going to hang around with mostly cloudy to overcast sky and lower visibility here, maybe in some mist and drizzle through the overnight, but not much as far as measurable rain goes. We're kind of in this lull of activity between now and tomorrow morning. So we take a look at the radar. Most of that measurable rain is pushing out of Middle Tennessee for tonight. But again, it's going to be brief with more rain on the way. And you can see it here in Mississippi and Alabama. And that'll begin to push northward as we head through the evening hours. Low temperatures tonight right around 37, all of us above freezing. So no worries for slick spots for the overnight hours. We'll be in the mid-30s up towards the Tennessee and Kentucky border. So between now and Thursday morning, this this is all round one, if you will. An additional ½ inch to 1 inch to 2 inches of rain is possible throughout the afternoon tomorrow. Those higher amounts look to be to our south and to our east, with Nashville kind of right in the middle of that, and then lesser amounts to the north and to the west. We've got a big round of showers and storms on the way for the weekend. Plus, could it be the return of winter weather? We'll talk about the potential for some snow going into next week.
Wow. Hundreds of stolen sunglasses from Tennessee turned up in a very unexpected place. How police found the stash worth nearly $1 million. And osteoporosis can lead to some serious injuries, but it can be prevented. What you need to do right now. In Operation Crime and Justice, police recovering hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of designer sunglasses stolen from the Murfreesboro Sunglass Hut in Florida. The Miami Police Department found them after Murfreesboro police located an address where they were shipped. They were mixed in with stolen sunglasses and merchandise from South Carolina. The products are valued at nearly $1 million. Well, osteoporosis, the most common bone disease in the U.S. because it weakens the bone structure, tissue, and strength, and it can lead to an increased risk of breaks. What you may not know is it's a treatable condition, only if it's detected, though, through screening. And there are new guidelines on who should be tested. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin goes over the recommendations and explains why they've changed.
It's called a silent disease because there are no symptoms of early-stage osteoporosis. It's usually found after a fracture or during screening.
It's just a matter of age and time and non-use of your bones that it slowly develops.
Dr. Paul Lewis with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says osteoporosis screening isn't invasive, but critical, as it can detect the condition before bones are broken. New guidelines recommend all women over age 65 have a bone mineral density test. Women of any age at increased risk for the disease are also advised to be screened.
It's almost as simple as getting x-rays taken. You lay on the table, they focus on the hip or the spine or your wrist, and a score is computed from that.
That score helps determine bone density. If it's low, Lewis says there are several medications that can stop bone loss or help build bone back. Consistently doing weight-bearing exercises or aerobics can also help prevent the disease. He says the new recommendations are due to an increase in injury and even death linked to these types of fractures in the last 7 years.
The jury's still out on men getting screened, but typically men with risk factors of osteoporosis should be screened as well. That decision, though, comes between the patient and their physician.
I'm Amanda Chin reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, Dr. Lewis says early detection of osteoporosis is also important so that a patient knows to get help quickly if there is a fracture. He says the sooner that broken bone is treated, the better the outcome. But he says many times people wait to be treated and only half gain back their pre-fracture activity levels following a major break. Well, new tonight, congratulations to several TBI special agents. They just graduated. Nearly 24 agents just completed an 18-week course. They're now working with their respective divisions and regions in the areas of criminal investigations, drug investigations, Medicaid fraud, control, and cybercrime. Kind of a soupy day out today, that on again, off again, nonstop rain.
And chilly. It was chilly this afternoon.
That cold rain.
Yeah.
And the radar looks pretty active behind you.
Yeah. This is a look actually at our rainfall totals over the last 24 hours, and we can expect more of that as we get into tomorrow. Again, an additional ½ inch up to 2 inches, depending on where you are, is possible here. Now, remember, this is a radar estimate. You could easily have seen more or less in your neighborhood, but gives you a general idea where most of the rain has fallen today. Anywhere between 1 to 2, even 2.5 inches as we get more into those yellows and into the oranges. As we head into Wednesday, the rain will continue. We have a brief break then as we get into Thursday and Friday, a couple of dry days. And we do continue to watch Saturday. Saturday, unfortunately, looks to be pretty active in the form of heavy rainfall, flooding, and then maybe even some severe weather. Overall setup for tomorrow, we continue to see quite a bit of moisture here coming in out of the Gulf, and that's going to bring us More rain as we head through the day. Now, tomorrow I don't think it's going to be as steady as it was today, but we will have these spurts that come through and then some light showers. And then again, as we head towards Wednesday night, it looks like another batch will be pushing in. So as we head through the overnight, you can see mainly cloudy skies. The morning commute won't be as bad as what it was this morning either. We look at some scattered light rain at best. Better overall widespread showers developing by mid to late morning. And then into the afternoon, you can see those showers here pushing east toward the plateau by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's that lull in activity through the early evening. So evening commute may get by okay. As we get into the later evening hours, though, more pockets of rain, some heavy will develop for us. A lot of that looks to be east of 65. So I do think the big winners as far as rain goes for tomorrow will be east of I-65. High temperatures for tomorrow in those mid to upper 50s, especially along and south of I-40. Murfreesboro, McMinnville, Tullahoma around 60 degrees. Nashville around 60 degrees. Will be a little bit cooler as we head to the north, a little bit more towards the Tennessee-Kentucky border. So showers are moving out as we head through the evening hours tonight. A few light rain showers can't be ruled out. Temperatures, though, staying above freezing. And as we head into tomorrow, we'll see those temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. We will continue to see those rain showers around off and on and heavy at times. Again, looking at anywhere between a ½ inch up to 1½ to 2 inches of rain, additional rain on top of what we had already. The good news is we have those 2 days, Thursday and Friday, as a break before the next batch of heavy showers are expected to arrive for Saturday. We'll break down that forecast, talk more about what we could see for Saturday and the potential for some snow possibly going into next week. That's all in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Some Republicans want the courts to get out of DOJ's way. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll explain coming up.
Wednesday on Fox 17 News this morning, the results of a Metro School Board vote on whether to implement a weapons detection system in all Nashville public high schools. We'll see you starting at 4 a.m.
A Fox 17 News Waste Watch report as the battle continues between the Department of Government Efficiency and the courts. As Fox 17 News' Matt Gelka shows us, DOJ is supposed to be highlighting waste in government, but there's some concern about how this is happening. By the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning that QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended a Department of Government Efficiency-led crippling of the U.S. Agency for International Development.
We're not walking away from foreign aid. We are walking away from foreign aid that's dumb, that's stupid, that wastes American taxpayer money. We're just not going to continue to do those.
USAID spending has been under the microscope since a freeze was put on the international group's expenditures. Critics have pointed to USAID money spent on everything from culture war issues abroad to charities with ties to Hamas as valid reasons to stop spending. Unearthed documents from 1990 show USAID paid college tuition at Colorado State University for Anwar al-Awlaki after he falsely claimed to be from Yemen. Al-Awlaki went on to be a high-level al-Qaeda terrorist who was killed in a drone strike in 2011. Multiple lawsuits have been filed in court to try and keep up with the flurry of DOJ activity that many Republicans have cheered on and Democrats have warned is a dangerous overreach.
I think that the courts should take a step back and allow these processes to play out. What we're doing is good and right for the American people.
They trust the court decision when they win. When they do not win, they want to burn it all down. That's the consistent theme of where the Republican Party is right now.
Democrats have rallied at different federal agencies on the DOJ hit list to try and put up a fight against Musk's fast-moving agenda.
Donald Trump cannot bulldoze his way through the rule of law.
While Republicans have both chambers of Congress and the White House, Democrats don't have many options beyond the courts. An upcoming government shutdown deadline might be Democrats' only way to negotiate with Republicans to avoid a shutdown while making a deal to rein in DOJ. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
During that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question tonight, do you agree with President Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency's swift action to restructure federal agencies? Over 700 people voting on this tonight. 89% say yes, 11% say no. Thanks for voting.
I'm Christine Frizzau in Washington with a look at the ever-changing immigration landscape.
Top officials now raising concerns of some communities getting tipped off about upcoming ICE raids.
A historic church suing the Proud Boys and now owns their trademark. What led to this lawsuit? Continuing coverage tonight surrounding President Trump's crackdown on undocumented immigrants. As Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell shows us, the White House celebrates what it calls a success. Legal challenge grow.
An undocumented criminal migrant and former police officer from Venezuela arrested in Miami this weekend. He'll join hundreds of other migrants expected to be returned to Venezuela, despite the country previously saying it wouldn't accept them. The first flight's already going out Monday, landing in Caracas Monday night.
Anything we can do to restore order to the border, but then look to legal immigration as a way for people to come in an orderly and humane way, I think is the way to go.
This as U.S. service members and DoD contractors work to erect migrant shelters at the naval base at Guantanamo Bay, part of a plan to detain more migrants. A plan Borders' Tom Homan says is being hindered by alleged leakers from inside the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, tipping people off before ICE agents arrive.
It's just not, giving the bad guys a heads up so they can escape apprehension. You're putting officers' lives at risk. It's only a matter of time if we walk into a place where there's going to be a bad guy doesn't care. He's going to be sitting and wait for the officers to show up and ambush him. This is not a game.
He says a criminal investigation will be launched by the Justice Department, and those responsible could go to jail. The new immigration landscape bringing new legal pushback as well. 27 religious groups joining forces to sue the Trump administration over its policy allowing arrests to be made inside houses of worship, as several sanctuary cities join in a legal challenge to the new White House policy threatening to cut funding to those cities.
This is the federal government coercing local officials to bend to their will or face defunding or prosecution, and that is illegal or authoritarian.
One more change we're learning of. The Trump administration has now asked the Treasury Department to deputize some law enforcement agents with the IRS to help with immigration enforcement. Some would conduct financial investigations, but others would help with processing, detaining, and transporting migrants. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell.
New tonight, a historically black church in Washington, D.C. now owns the Proud Boys trademark. The historic Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church sued the group after vandalism in 2020 during a pro-Trump rally. Not only did the congregation get a nearly $3 million judgment, but the rights to the Proud Boys name.
This place exists to joyfully resist anything that would seek to destroy us or any people.
The church now claims any and all money made from the Proud Boys name, and the Proud Boys group is now required to ask the church for permission to use or do anything with the name. New tonight, the White House blocking an Associated Press reporter from an event in the Oval Office because the AP won't alter its rule on referencing the Gulf of Mexico. The president used an executive order to rename the body of water the Gulf of America. The AP said it would continue to refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico, but noting the president's name change. The AP says as a global news agency, it must ensure that place names are easily recognizable to all audiences. Well, this week, Google Maps began using Gulf of America, saying it had a long-standing practice of following the U.S. government's lead on such matters. The other leading online map provider, Apple Maps, was still using the title Gulf of Mexico. The Associated Press said limiting their access to the Oval Office based on this issue violates the First Amendment. Fox 17 News investigates Tennessee's foster care system. One foster mother telling Fox 17 News that she saw a lack of support and care from the Department of Children's Services. Casey McDonald wanted to give back after working in a hospital and seeing babies end up in the system after she took in a 3-week-old and an 11-month-old. McDonald says she would not see the caseworker for months at a time.
The kids have never been an issue. It's more working with the system. I think that's hard.
Well, the other issue this foster mother says that she's witnessed firsthand. That's Wednesday on Fox 17 News at 9.
Well, let's take a look at tomorrow's temperatures here. A little warmer than today, where we were struggling in the 40s for the afternoon. Looking at temperatures to climb into the 50s for much of the afternoon hours, topping off close to 60 as we head into the later part of the day. Your timestamps at the bottom of your screen there. You can see by mid to late afternoon, highs in those upper 50s, close to 60 degrees. Going into Saturday, that's going to be our next round for heavy rain, and unfortunately I think we're going to have to add in severe weather. But as far as our rain chances go, confidence is increasing that we'll see at least 3 inches or more rain just with this event here. So then confidence is growing that flooding will be a concern, especially area creeks, streams, rivers. They will be on the rise, and you can see 3 to 4 inches on either side, maybe a swath of 4 inches plus. That's rain. As far as our severe weather threat, Storm Prediction Center is already circling us for a chance at strong thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon and evening, along and south of I-40 for the moment here. It does look like and appears that the bigger severe weather threat will be south of us, but we are definitely looking at, I would say, the potential for some strong thunderstorms. Coming up, we'll talk more about the potential for little winter weather going into next week.
An irate father going on a violent rampage on the ice. Why he decided to attack 2 teenage hockey refs. Big night at Memorial Gymnasium as the Vanderbilt men's basketball team welcomes in the #1 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick was at the game, and she has more on the Commodores. Hey, Jill.
Hey, Megan, give a lot of credit to the Vanderbilt Commodores tonight. Not only was this arena completely packed, but the Commodores hung with the top team in the country, the Auburn Tigers, for as long as they could in this game. And at one point, Vanderbilt even led in the second half. However, Auburn's offense was just electric tonight. The Tigers shooting 61% from the floor in the second half and never once taking their foot off the gas in this game. Vanderbilt, meanwhile, was just 3 of 17 from behind the arc and struggled to keep up the second half as they fell 80-68 to top-ranked Auburn.
That team is really good. I'm not saying anything breaking news. They just kind of been in different situations. They had an answer. We had some things we couldn't overcome in that stretch, and maybe it was a poor start or whatever else. Can't quite put my finger on it, but I like the fact this. You know, that's as good a team there is in the country.
It does not get any easier for Vanderbilt. The Commodores have 4 regular season games left in the SEC. All 4 of those games are against ranked SEC opponents, and it starts Saturday when they travel to Knoxville to take on the 5th-ranked Tennessee Vols. Now, the good news for Vanderbilt is that a lot of the early projections for the NCAA tournament have the Commodores making the tournament with an at-large bid, but it would help Vanderbilt's case if they were to get another one of those ranked wins in the next couple of weeks. I'll have more at 10, but for now, reporting live from Memorial Gymnasium, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, we'll talk more about our weather going into next week. Current thoughts on a big cool down and if we might see snow.
What on earth? Teen refs attacked on the ice. What prompted a dad to take this violent action? And getting a sneak peek at the future of Vanderbilt University in another state? What's behind these renderings? Caught on camera, a viral video of a dad attacking 2 teenage refs on the ice. It's sparking outrage tonight. Reporter Michelle Esteban shows us the shocking video.
1 minute hockey fans are watching a youth hockey game. The next, they see a man walk onto the ice in the middle of the game and push one teen ref to the ice, and then another, just 13 and 14 years old. You can hear the gasp from the crowd. It was the same reaction that Jody Carpenter, the president of the Pacific Northwest Amateur Hockey Association, had.
Saw the video, was immediately disgusted on what I saw.
Carpenter posted another angle of the incident online, insisting it's crucial to share with the community to confront the seriousness, he says, of what happened.
Personally, about 40 years in hockey, from a player, parent, administrator, Never seen anything like that.
SPD says the suspect was located leaving the Iceplex at a nearby traffic light. According to the police report, he accused the teens of not doing anything about helping his son, who was involved in a fight on the ice during the game. He told police he went on the ice to defend his son. But the police report says the fight was not happening when he got on the ice. It was broken up, and the refs were assessing a penalty at the time of the alleged assault. Outside the Iceplex, word spread of the incident.
It was just insane. I think that's unacceptable. People shouldn't treat kids like that.
In his report, an officer wrote the assault was, quote, clearly unprovoked, and the conduct especially egregious due to the size and age difference between the victims and the suspects. Both teens were treated on scene for their injuries.
The one thing that does strike with me or sticks with me is that they both commented they couldn't wait to get back on the ice to ref their next game.
The Seattle City Attorney's Office has not released the charging documents, but at least 2 counts of assault are expected. And as for the teenagers, one had a neck and hip injury, the other an injured elbow. Well, looking ahead, Vanderbilt University giving us a sneak peek at what could be its new business and tech campus in West Palm Beach, Florida. These are renderings of the vision the university has for the campus. The proposed project has already acquired 7 acres of county and city land in the area. The next step is laying out the steps of achieving its $300 million fundraising target. One of the photos shows a tropical center there that mirrors one that Nashville has, while the West Palm Beach location will have its own distinct identity. The school says both locations will feature networks of outdoor spaces designed to be destinations for students. All right, a pretty busy weather day today. We're going to have one of the same tomorrow.
Another one just like it tomorrow. May not be as widespread, but still pretty wet out there for Wednesday. The good news is we're going to have 2 dry days before the next round arrives on Saturday. Valentine's Day is on Friday, and we are looking at a nice afternoon, one of the better days of the week, in fact. Lots of sunshine, our temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. It'll be a cold start to the day, but we'll climb into those low 50s as we get into the later part of the afternoon hours. So enjoy the day on Friday, because we get into Saturday, and unfortunately, we're going to be looking at the potential for more heavy rain and flooding, along with maybe a few strong thunderstorms as well. I want to focus a little more on next week, because I've been getting questions about it already, believe it or not. Thanks to the internet, everything's available, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can find out there. So I want to make sure that we're kind of staying in the zone here and discuss what we may or may not see as we head into next week. Remember that we're still 6 to 8 days out. So at this point, when it comes to winter weather, we want to recognize the overall weather pattern. And at this point, it appears possible that we could have some light snow, but it is way too soon for any details on how much, where we're going to see the higher amounts, and if it will actually develop or not. So again, at this point, we're just taking a look at pattern recognition. This is our 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and it is looking at the 17th through the 21st. And overall, temperatures look to be well below average for us, with a big blue circle here, dark blue circle over Chicago and the Great Lakes, but even well below average here in Tennessee, which means temperatures will be more likely in the 30s and 40s for highs. So it is possible we could be looking at some pretty cold weather. Along with that, slightly above average precipitation here hints at maybe a more active pattern. So with those players in mind, we then look at ensemble members. And so an ensemble member is a blend of models. So we're not going to look at one model. We're going to look at a bunch of them and combine them together. This is especially good when we're talking about forecasts over 5 days out. But right now, 2 of the main ensemble models here, the GFS and the European, are both giving us a chance of at least 1 inch of snow. 20 to 40% chance for the GFS model. The Euro ensemble is saying 40 to 60% chance that Nashville and much of Middle Tennessee could see 1 inch of snow or more. Timing is next Wednesday into Thursday. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. I'll leave it at that. It's a chance. But if you're seeing anything else out there on the internet about crazy model runs showing feet of snow, don't believe it, because we're looking at A lot of things that'll happen between now and then, but trust me, I'll keep you posted on what we may or may not see as we get a little closer to next week. Running out of money in California, what will happen to those who did not have insurance in the aftermath of the devastating wildfires? In the face of Abraham Lincoln may not be in the change jar in the future, what could end the penny? California's program for people without home insurance needs more money to cover claims from the LA wildfires. California's FAIR Plan is an insurance pool all major private insurers pay into. State leaders say the program will need about $1 billion more to pay out claims related to the latest wildfires. Flames destroyed nearly 17,000 structures and killed at least 29 people. California's FAIR Plan covers people who cannot get private insurance because their properties are deemed too risky. There were over 452,000 policies on the FAIR Plan in 2024. Looking ahead to another big weekend of sports right here on Fox 17. Starting on Friday, we have men's college basketball, and that's a game between UCLA and Indiana. Tip-off is at 7. Then Saturday, don't miss UConn taking on Seton Hall at 1:30. And then at 7 o'clock, it's Michigan State versus Illinois in a primetime basketball matchup. That, of course, followed by Fox 17 News. And you want to stay tuned after the newscast Saturday as Fox 17 has the final round of Live Golf from Australia. And then Sunday, NASCAR is back on Fox 17 in a big way. We've got the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500, starting right here on Fox 17 at 1:30. Well, copper losing its value, why a penny isn't even worth a penny anymore. In the economy tonight, President Trump looking to get rid of some change. Literally, he told the U.S. Treasury to stop minting new pennies. Reporter Maribel Gonzalez explains how this could help or hurt your wallet.
Two sides of the same coin.
We need the penny. You see them lying on the sidewalk, people don't even pick them up.
A debate after President Donald Trump ordered the U.S. Treasury to stop minting new pennies, describing it as, quote, wasteful.
I've been advocating this for, about a decade and a half.
Economics professor Robert Waples points to the cost of production. According to the latest annual report from the U.S. Mint, it costs 3.7 cents to make a penny and 13.8 cents to make a nickel.
We taxpayers lose money every time that we, produce extra pennies. The problem is on us because when we get change, we don't bring it back to the store.
Instead, Waples proposes a system of rounding up to the nearest nickel.
If it's $2.01, it gets round to 2. If it's $1.99, it gets round to 2. And those two things basically canceled out in the thousands and thousands of transactions that occur.
But penny advocates like Mark Weller from Americans for Common Sense disagree.
There's billions of transactions that take place under $25, and those are mostly made in cash. And so you're going to have a rounding tax on the people that can least afford it.
Weller says phasing out the 1 cent coin could cost us a pretty penny.
The penny does cost a little bit more than its face value, but the nickel costs 14 cents right now. So how are you going to save money if you start making more nickels that are costing more money?
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, the King of Jordan was in Washington Tuesday. We'll share what he had to say about Trump's plan for the U.S. to take over Gaza.
He's a young cancer survivor who loves baseball, and now he's in a life-saving trial to help others. I'm Liz Bonus, a remarkable, inspiring story just ahead.